Another Sunday, another case of the Scaries to start work week. Welcome to the newest edition of the Sunday Scaries. We have all your gore, lore, and more, covering all the latest horror happenings, slicing open all the latest horror news, and dissecting it bit by bit, finding all those juicy innards. Pour yourself a nightcap and turn your fright lights while we take you on a tour of terror.
What's happening? Yes, just us today. No Adrian or Bottom Guy.
Boy.
Yeah, he's taking the night off. He had some stuff he needed to do at home. Been busy over there, so I totally understand. It's all good. And honestly, we were only late because one of the topics that we were discussing beforehand, it's I guess we'll just say out up front one here. It's the Terrifier lawsuit stuff. Some sensitive material in there, so we were just kind of discussing how exactly we wanted to cover that and just like getting kind of our thoughts before we get into it, because I think it's really important. It's definitely very interesting, but it is one of those things too where it's just kind of like, I just want to know where Luke's head's at. I want him to know where my head's at before we start discussing it, because yeah, it's definitely, I think you put it best backstage. It's muddying the waters a little bit, and it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, very disappointing. I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but things right now, the information that we do have in front of us, it just seems, I don't know, a little bit of a stain on the Terrifier franchise, especially something that is so close knit and I think communal to so many horror fans, where it just feels like a franchise for the fans. So, I mean, we'll get into it here properly in a little bit, I assume. But I don't know. It's something that's, I think, been weighing on probably a lot of people, just because I kind of caught everyone off really out of left field, I think.
I'd agree. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like they've had their minor little controversies here and there, but like everything's been kind of like, in good fun and in good faith. But we'll save it for that conversation here in just a little bit. I just want to see how everybody's doing. We got Necro in the chat. What's going on with the red balloons? Of course.
Yes.
Welcome to Dairy. Are they having another episode tonight, or was
I
it
think they were
just
I
Friday?
think they were just releasing that episode too early. So I
Mm-hmm.
think they're staying on track. It was just they wanted to release that
On
one for Halloween.
Halloween. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. What's going on, Gannon? How we doing? Stephanie, what's up? What's up, Erica? How's it going? And we got Penelope here as well. Oh, what is this? Nivek? I actually I don't don't know if I recognize your name there. I'm sorry if you've been in before, but I that's a new one for me. What's going on, Ryo? How you doing? The Ryo. What's happening? He's got Art the Clown and a gremlin in
Oh,
the
look at
Santa
that.
Claus hat in the thing. I
What a
like it.
combo.
Very good, very good. Let's see. Yeah, oh yeah, Adrian is off for the night. He's taking some family time, getting some projects done that he needs to get done himself. And yeah, just hanging out. So it's just gonna be old Luke and I here. We're gonna do our best
He's
to
not
kind of run
generating that
through.
kind of speed from the bottom as he usually does,
Yes,
unfortunately.
this will probably be a good night for the chat, because I know with two people it's a little bit more easier to focus right on there when you're just kind of trying to keep everything moving. So let's see. Oh, this was it. What did everybody watch Halloween Day? I watched The Monkey and Cabin in the Woods. That's a good combo. That's a good little horror comedy combo. I like that. Luke, what did you end up watching on Halloween?
You know, I am totally spacing. I know I watched something, but it was not a fresh one. Nope, Maximum Overdrive. That's what I started my day with, was Maximum Overdrive. Well, technically that's a lie, because I had to finish the video that I put up on Friday. But then after that, it was Maximum Overdrive. And that was just such a random watch for me. I was just scrolling and I was like, what can I watch to just kind of get my mindset after finishing everything? And that was one I said, Emilio Estevez taking on trucks and machines, because I put a little clip in my video, so I think maybe that's what sparked my interest. So that was a go-to this year.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I ended up watching a handful of things, pieces, parts of things, mostly just because like I was watching stuff. I was with my son all day, so like we were basically just like watching little clips and stuff of like Trick or Treat and things like that, just because like I can't show him the whole movie yet. He's only 3, but he loves Sam so much. So I mean, Luke got a little taste of that this weekend. We did end up popping into a Spirit Halloween and looking around, and they did have the chocolate bar little razor knife thing, and he'd been wanting that all like Halloween season, so we
It's
did
a great
grab that.
pop.
Yep. And
Like for
the
Bowl? Sub
50%
Bowl.
off. So
Yes.
I let him get it wasn't like the expensive one. It was just the like hard plastic Trick or Treat Studios one. We let him get that, of course, and it was just like he got those two for I think we got out of there for like $15 or whatever. So it was nice. So I was definitely very happy with that. But we watched a lot of that. But for the movie, just to wrap up my whole thing here, the movie that I ended up watching because I always try to watch a horror movie, a brand new one every Halloween. For me this year, I was kind of debating between something that I had like watched parts of back in the day and remember not loving, but because I just had like wanted to get more into this director's work and stuff like in the back catalog. It's something that I've meaning to do. I did end up watching The Frighteners, which I had never seen before.
Oh,
And
you'd never seen The Frighteners.
I had never seen The Frighteners, and I quite enjoyed The Frighteners. I thought it was very darkly comedic, very good time. I really like. It's odd because I always picture like young Michael J. Fox because it's like
Yeah.
everything I watch is him, like Back to the Future, Teen Wolf, all that stuff is what I'm used to. So he's a little older in this, and it was a little off-putting, and it's like very crude and it's very interesting. But I liked it a lot. I don't understand why that movie got panned when it came out.
I don't get it either. That one is such a fun watch, and I remember watching it when I was younger in the 90s, and then not not checking that one out until I got it digitally, and I was like, "Is this film as fun as I remember?" And it just holds up. It's so perfect, and that's a film that I guess we'd have to settle for a remake. I think you could easily do some sort of remake with that one. I would have loved to seen some sort of continuation. I know we're not going to get that, because I'd love to have Michael J. Fox in there, but I'd love to see something reignite that film in general. It could easily turn into a franchise. I love the concept behind that, and I don't think
Mhm.
it's talked about enough. I think once you start bringing up the conversation, I can see the chat going off right now, but it's like everyone does love that film. It's just like I think it's one of those ones that is in your back catalog that sometimes a lot of people forget, and people forget how good that film is until you actually flip it on. And it's like once I watch that film one time, I'll watch it over the next few months a handful more times. It's an easy watch. You just pop that one on, come in and out of it, very passive if you don't want to stay fully engaged into that one. There are so many great scenes. Jake Busey in that is I love Jake Busey. He's fantastic, and Michael J. Fox, you can't beat him.
There's a lot of good chemistry in that movie, and it's like it is just really. It seems very wacky, like they are just going off the wall, and I really liked it. I thought it was. I admittedly I was pretty tired by the time I was wrapping it up, so I do need to go back and like probably give the last 15 minutes a once over because admittedly I'm watching it on my phone laying in bed, just because like I was lazy. I just like I'm not gonna go out, sit on the couch, do this whole thing. But then other than that, yeah, we watched some of Trick or Treat, Nightmare Before Christmas, The Corpse Bride was also that weekend at some point. I remember because Atticus loves all that, so I stayed pretty PG, I would say, for most of my Halloween watching. But yeah, definitely enjoyed The Frighteners. I don't know, I just I think because we had the lists talking about such heavier movies. And then the one I'm working on now is pretty gruesome. So it's one of those things where it's like I think I just needed a little bit of a fun break. Plus, we dressed up as Ghostface and Devil Ghostface, as my son calls him from Dead by Daylight, for trick or treating. So we had a lot of fun there. And yeah, just overall, Halloween was a great time.
I don't know. Oddly, I like lighter watches on Halloween. I think it puts me in the mood a little bit more. Not that I don't like watch something like a Friday 13th, but it's not always my go-to. I love just the films that really capture the spirit of Halloween. Like I guess Trick or Treat is a little bit heavier subject matter, but I don't know. It encapsulates the spirit of Halloween so much that I feel like it's a little bit of a lighter watch just because it's got that um I don't know, that lore attached to it that I just love. It feels like a mature Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark kind of story, and those are things that I love to watch during Halloween. Like Maximum Overdrive, not the best film, admittedly, but it's just such a fun, warm and fuzzies kind of watch. Stephen King property, and it has just so many fun moments. I mean, the truck, the Green Goblin truck, is just fantastic. So I think those are my go-to. I work up watching heavier stuff throughout the month of October, but then once Halloween gets here, it's just like the fun stuff really encapsulates the spirit of Halloween.
Absolutely, yeah. And the Rogue Room here, I think, is on that same wavelength with us again. The Monkey, Cabin in the Woods, very darkly comedic movies.
Yeah, the monkey
And
would be a great watch, I think,
mhm.
for Halloween. That one I did not put on my watch list for this Halloween, but I think I'm going to for next year.
Yeah, I was thinking about watching that one again soon. I just love the ending of that movie. But like it is still one that I remember like I just don't know what it is about Osgood Perkins, but I just can't like love all of his stuff. Like every movie I really enjoy up to a point. And then there's
Yeah,
something or there's just some element that does not work for me that always sticks out like a sore thumb. But like I do love his stuff. And I think like I just need to wait for that one project to come out that's going to actually be like, he got it. All right. I like that a lot. So we'll see. Maybe it's Keeper. Who knows?
yeah.
Which is coming up fast. So
We got 2 weeks.
I know. And then we got Gracie here saying, I'm almost done with my new Terrifier video. When that happened, I added 7 minutes to my video talking about it. Hey, all I can say is that's a sign from the movie gods saying you're doing things right. Your video should pop off pretty good then if you at least address that. I would say best bet hints a little bit towards that in your thumbnail. So that way the algorithm will be like, oh hell yeah, this is great. So
Yeah, it's gonna be very topical, I think. Honestly, probably for the next few months, especially um, as we're getting more information about Terrifier 4 and then even up upon its release. So I'm very curious to see what everything's gonna look like here in the next months as more information comes out.
well, thank you, Nicholas G. We appreciate you stopping in. Let's see what's going on here. Erica watched all 6 Scream movies. That's a hell of a night. Jeez,
Yeah.
that's a lot of films. But pretty good. I'd say you're mostly watching decent stuff there. Again, I think like we need to refresh this a little bit considering we're going to talk about Scream 7, but like I think I can say for I don't want to speak for both of us actually. I can say for myself that I really only love one Scream movie, and that's the original. The other ones, I really enjoy some of them, but they don't win my heart like that first movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when we had went into Scream 5 and I'd said, I always expect a quality out of that franchise. And I do to a certain extent, but I would say like there's only one film in that's in the A tier. And like that's absolutely iconic. And that's that first film. It's so original, it's unique for the time. And then there are films that are in the B tier for me, but they're not in the same conversation as that first film. It's just way too iconic and changed a lot of the game of horror, especially in the mid 90s and what we see
Oh yeah.
now.
Oh yeah. It definitely I mean and Ghostface is like such an iconic like thing. I mean, talking about Spirit Halloween a little bit ago, it's like he's got his own section and it's huge. Like they have so many masks. Like did you see the one that was a hockey mask this year?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
That was so cool. I
You
love
know,
that. I was like if
it's
I had extra money, I'd so get that.
it's funny because I know Scream obviously has its diehard fans. It's got a huge fan base, but a lot of horror fans, especially ones that have watched the slasher wave of the '80s and things like that, usually Ghostface is in the conversation, but it's like when you talk about like the Mount Rushmore, a lot of times it falls into
He's
Freddy,
always like a
Jason.
4 or 5 for me.
Yeah, that's where it's like he's always in that. He's either your fourth pick or he's number 5. But it's like oddly, Ghostface has translated, I think, even more into the like general population of horror, or
Mhm.
just fans in general. My wife reads like the dark kind of I don't want to say erotic, but like all that kind of passion stuff, and it a lot of the ghost face mask in those types of books has become so iconic. It seems like that's always the go-to. I know there's a big I think it's a book series out there that uses the ghost face mask. I can't remember what it's called. But it's like that has just been such a big thing nowadays. And I think maybe that's like such a driving point for people. I saw a meme earlier today that was like, Spirit employee when a couple's buying a ghost face mask, giving them a weird look because it's like that's just become a big thing with people now. It's really funny to see, but it's like Ghostface for a lot of horror fans. Just talking about horror is at number 4 or 5, but for just a general horror population, seems to be like a big focal point.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think It's definitely one of the more iconic franchises. Obviously, they keep making movies, but it's definitely like I think it's got like the Art the Clown thing that's going on, where like Art the Clown like kind of really thrives on merchandise. You can kind of sell him on anything. You can put Ghostface on anything. Like
Yes.
it's such an iconic. Like you're gonna see that mask and you know immediately what it is. And it's like it goes that way, even though they used a very similar, they're knocking it off in things like Scary Movie, but people still associate it with Scream and Ghostface. Like Ghostface is just interchangeable amongst those things. I did see some fun ones here. We got, oh yeah, Mama Mayhem, Motel Hell. Great watch.
Yes.
Another great one. A lot of funny stuff. Cobweb, absolutely
Fantastic watch.
disturbing. Love that
Always a
one.
great go-to for Halloween.
Yeah, I did want to watch that one after I saw your video the other week. I
That
was like,
movie
I gotta
gets
get
so
that back
dark,
on.
like, at a certain point, obviously, if you've seen it, it gets really dark, really surprisingly dark.
Yeah, I had a so like it was on it was on my Halloween list, and then Luke mentioned his list that he was already working on before I started that. That he had that, and I was like, okay, I got to swap that out. So I swapped it out real quick, but like it's still one of those things where after that, and then seeing your list, I'm like, dude, I really got to rewatch Cobweb.
It's so
It's
much
been
fun.
it's been like a year or two since I saw it. Um, I watched Nightmare on Elm Street because Robert Englund got his star. Hell yeah, I love that. And then we got Ryo in here with Bring Her Back. Yes, oh yeah, it's a rough one. It's definitely great. We had a fun time discussing a little bit of that with Talk to Me and that video where we went over the science of scare, which I love doing, and I had a fun time editing. I think you guys seemed to really enjoy it. It did really well, overperformed from what I thought it was going to do. And I can say we'll definitely be doing another follow up, but we need to make it clear. I know it's not anybody who actually watches us live because you guys are all like our hardcore supporters and we love you guys. But like, there's some people who come in there who think that we made that list. And
I
I'm
was
just
so,
like,
like
we didn't do that.
yeah, I
Like, I
know,
thought we
we
explained
mentioned
it.
it quite a few times in the actual video, and then we're getting comments like, "What the hell's with this list?" It's like, "Hey, we did not pick it. It is in the title. It's according to science that these are the top 10 right now scariest films." And it's like, we mention it. I think we even go into like Conjuring and stuff like that. It's got jump scares. So if you're hooked up to a monitor, it's like, hey, we did not hook up like 250 people personally. Splattercast did not do it personally. We don't have the means to do it. We wish we did. We would have picked a handful of different films. But yeah. So I don't know if we're gonna have to like plaster that over if we do like 11 through 20 or something like that. That this is not our list.
Yes, definitely. We'll have to make a big joke about it because that was funny. I just like it. It's just crazy. It's one of those things where it's just like I'm like, come on, man, what is happening here? Like when people just like I think they just kind of see the title or they start seeing, and I do think because like there was a lot of people who wanted chapters for so long on so many of the early lists. I really think there are people who just come in and they check our stuff out and they see it's like, oh, if there's a bunch of titles they recognize, they just click off
Yeah.
because like that's the only reason I feel like some of those people would leave like a pick like that. Um, oh yes, yep. We definitely had a fun time. I had fun with that. I took some pictures. I don't know if you saw it on the Instagram, Luke. I did like a little video with Atticus and Ice Pumpkins,
Oh no.
where I put some of the Halloween music. I forget which track exactly I used, but just over it, just zooming in on the pumpkins with a nice little filter. So it was fun, just having a little bit of fun with it. I mean, it was a really chill afternoon. I spent a lot of it just kind of hanging out with family and friends and stuff like that, and just spending time with my kid and everything. They were Atticus was he was a little under the weather, I thought there for a minute, so we were kind of working through that, trying to just keep it easy, keep it local. So it
No,
was a good
yeah,
time though.
this Halloween was probably like the most like seeing my family like throughout the day on Halloween, which was like the very first time that it actually happened. Where it's like, my sister works at the library, the local library, so we took my daughter there. She dressed up like a dinosaur, and we went there, and she played around. My sister dressed up like an orange crayon for Halloween, and then I met my brother at the we have a like local. It's called a retro attic. I went there for a little bit, looked around at some old school stuff, and then carved pumpkins later that night. Which I usually carve pumpkins a few days before Halloween, but just busy schedules and everything lined up that I ended up doing it Halloween night. So it was like when
Do they
I
have
was just like,
anything? Oh, sorry. Did they have anything fun at Retro Attic because of
oh,
the season? Oh, it's
I mean,
bad. Don't tell
it's
me.
horrible. Stay away if you value your cash. But there's a, I'll tell you, they have like old school Halloween decorations there. I want to get my hands on them. Um, I have some things that I have to because they do like you can trade stuff in. So I have a handful of things I want to go there. They have a giant pumpkin head mask
Oh
there that is
God.
just pristine.
I might go up there tomorrow with Atticus just to look around because like
Yeah,
I love seeing the stuff and he loves that place. He adores it.
you'll
He's
lose a bunch
usually
of time.
excuse me. He's usually very good at getting me to
They're actually closed on
unlatch my
Mondays, though,
wallet.
just so you know.
Perfect. Great. That's
Yeah.
great. We will stick to our plans. We're gonna go
Okay,
to the
yeah.
park in the morning, do
It's
some
tempting.
playground, do some fishing, and then
It
come
is
home.
so tempting, man. They have some really nice stuff up there and a couple
Oh
of
yeah.
VHSs. They have a VHS. I did not pull the trigger on it yet, but they have In the Mouth of Madness on VHS up
Oh
there.
yeah.
That it's like, I'd love to get my hands on that one too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that didn't make the background. I was trying to fit it in as the VHS player and the TV, but um there is going to be like a full-blown introduction to all this. I do have a video working. I don't know if I mentioned it last stream or not, but I got a new chair. This is Ewin Racing. They've been sponsoring creators recently, and I didn't know if it was a real sponsorship or not. So we pulled the trigger, and they did end up sending me this really awesome chair. And in return, I have to do like a review of it. So I figured what I would do to kind of have fun with it and kind of check something off that's been going on for a while for us is I know a lot of you, like I know Ryo and everybody has been asking for many, many moons for us to do like our background displays, like tour, like a room tour type thing. So I figured, hey, that would be a good way to kind of like mold that, get a cool chair, do a background tour, show off some of our like niche stuff that we like just talk about, like posters and stuff all around the rooms. And yeah, so that'll be coming here this week. I'm excited to release it. I've been having some fun with it. It's been a challenge though, because it's a little different than it's kind of hard because like I don't just want to be like, here, look at my stuff, like look at that, but I'm trying to pick out more sentimental items and stuff like that that have like fun stories. So I think it's going well, but it's cool. They're going to be a great sponsor. Hopefully we can hook Luke up with one here soon, and then you'll get his background and get some of his stuff. I think Luke's got some really fun. He's really good about finding nostalgic older stuff and really holding on to that. So like I really am jealous of some of his stuff, especially a lot of the VHS he has.
Yeah, I'll tell you, redoing my background, the only thing that pains me is not being able to fit in that Halloween 3 poster because it's such like a centerpiece for me. It just, with the lighting and stuff like that, it's so reflective that there was no way it was going to work. So I got to get some sort of Halloween 3 representation in here, but that still ends up being my my favorite thing. But it's like, going through all the stuff that we have extensive NECA collections. We have so many different things. I know Dylan's going to talk about. We each have different uh created from where is he from? He's not Swedish. He's
I thought he was Swedish. I
is he
I
Swedish?
have I have it in my notes here to pull his actual
Instagram
Instagram because he
Henrik.
used to be on Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he used to post stuff all the time. He does occasionally now, but we'll get his information when Dylan does his video. But we both have several things from him that are just really fantastic, beautiful artwork. So yeah, we're definitely excited to eventually, dive into our backgrounds and see, give you guys all the details. I have that critter thing back there, which is very fantastic. A little story there. I know we're getting in the weeds here a little bit, but that was like right before my daughter was born. And Dylan we have the exchange around here, went to Canton and saw that critter. It was like beginning of October, I believe. And
Yep.
it
Because
was,
that was the first year I took Atticus in there with me.
and like everything is just so cohesive and connective, I think, because I remember Dylan sent me a photo of it and said, "Do you want this?" And I said, "Yeah." I hit a bunch of credit, so I said, "Don't buy it. Just have him put it behind the counter, and I'll come up and get it." And a couple days later, I went up and I got that, and I sent Dylan a picture of it. But I remember going up there with my wife. Our daughter was about to be born, and we had just freshly watched Terrifier for the first time for a review on the channel. And I remember us driving to that exchange, and we're just on the highway, and we're both talking about because we just watched. I think it was the night before that, and just I was like, I just don't get it. It didn't really hit with me, and I was like, we had already had our tickets for Terrifier 2, and I was like, I just don't know how I feel about Terrifier 2 at all. And then it's just like, that one ended up knocking it out of the park and really kind of laying a lot of foundation for us, really kind of to get going on the channel. It's just funny to think about that. That's why I was like, when I redid this, the critter was not originally in the setup, and I was like, he was on the shelf over there, and I was like, I got to put him in there.
That's how I feel about the Jaws 2 thing, because that's what we were hinting towards too. I'll save it for the video, but like, it's just a very sentimental piece. It's very something that's like, it's one of a kind. It was made literally upon, I think he replied, he had put up a post or something, and I replied with a GIF of Jaws 2, and like he went with it. And it was just one of those things where I was just like, hell yeah, I had to get it. And like, honestly, like, pretty great deal. Not gonna lie. It was like, I think like for his currency, it was like $80 is what he charged me, but I ended up sending him like 120 or something. And then I think it was like 130 after shipping and everything. So, it's good stuff though. I'm excited. And I did see some of his more recent stuff. It was a lot of fun. So definitely can't wait to share that there. And then I can't wait to get my sister's husband to get his crap out of my office. I want to decorate it all spooky like so bad. Yeah. I always go in with the best intentions of doing this. I feel like this is the best job I've ever done on the background when it comes to updating it. The only thing that you guys can't really see, and you'll see some of my cleaning products, but I'm going to show you anyway, is this is a new addition also. When I was at Spirit a couple weeks ago, I found that Army of Darkness.
I didn't know they had Army of Darkness.
It's a door cover, so it's one of those ones where it's like, it's not technically supposed to be used for that, but I enjoyed it. I was like, I was able to get it to work. I was very happy with that. I think it turned out pretty good. So,
Bruce Campbell with rippling muscles. Come on.
Oh yeah, just up on the wall forever now. But I think it's all coming together real nice. Everything's real well represented. I just need to get lights in the back there. So,
yeah, that's always the issue is enough lighting.
Dude, seriously, I have like a bunch of light bulbs right now I've been testing up in here that I've just collected over the last year, and like I'm just trying to find one that actually like doesn't make me look super saturated, and then just something that I can kind of use to take away some of the little like ring lights and stuff I'm using. Let's see. I wish John Carpenter would come back to directing. It sucks that John Carpenter's movie Dark Child never happened. It looks so good and promising in pre-production camera tests. I've actually never looked into that, so
neither have I.
I'm gonna have to write that down real quick because I'm actually super intrigued on that. You know what? I'm really disappointed never got made. John Carpenter's supposed Creature from the Black Lagoon. Holy crap, that movie looked amazing. The design for the creature was so good.
Yeah, that's what, like, there are so many what ifs with John Carpenter, because I think we all have different ones. We're talking about Dark Child, you're talking about Creature, I'm talking Shadow Company, which would have been really interesting. I think, what was it, Shane Black that was supposed to write that, and then John Carpenter direct. Seems like such a really interesting concept. There are just so many what ifs with John Carpenter, and I think we're all in agreement that we would have, wish he would have continued directing and would at least come back for maybe one last go of it, because Dylan and I had jumped on Flet's movie podcast a couple weeks ago talking about John Carpenter and just going through his filmography and how many bangers he has. I mean, come on, like the 80s are just nonstop with how many home runs Carpenter had throughout, just so many iconic science fiction and horror films. So, and for The Ward to be like the last thing, which neither of us have seen at the time, but it's like, it's just got horrible reviews. It's one of those films where we're so hesitant to dive into it because
I'm worried because so like negative. I've heard negative things about horror movies before, right? And it's been wrong. I've liked movies, but like every single person, no matter how I feel about their opinion on horror movies, has said this movie sucks. And it's like, it's so disappointing. I almost don't want to rip the Band-Aid off,
I know, it's like one of those ones we'll eventually get around to it, but we know it's more than like 99.9% chance of being a negative experience. That it's just like, do we want to put ourselves through that, knowing we love John Carpenter? I'd rather revisit They Live and the nostalgia of John Carpenter rather than going into, what is that, 2010, something like
I
that.
think so. It's like 2009, 2010 ish. It's just like, I don't know. It feels like just such an odd place for somebody with that body of work to leave that there. Like, just that's where it is, especially because like he's still working. So, like, we talked a little bit about his video game with Flet a little bit too. Like Kyle over there, we were
Yeah.
trying to really like discuss just all of his potential, and it's a rough time. Luke Dillon, happy Halloween, boys. Well, happy Halloween to you as well. Been wanting to ask if you all enjoy Jacob's Ladder and what your thoughts are on the Silent Hill parallels are. Oh, so the Silent Hill, that's a shame. Adrian is such a huge fan, and he would have been able to probably tie so many things together. I actually have not seen Jacob's Ladder. Have you seen it, Luke?
I've seen Jacob's Ladder. I haven't seen anything with Silent Hill though.
Okay, I know a little bit about Silent Hill, but like I just in your opinion, real quick here, Jacob's Ladder, worth watching?
Jacob's Ladder is iconic. Like, yeah, definitely put that on your watch list, Dylan. I didn't know you hadn't watched that up until right now. So iconic. That film, I think I had seen that somewhere in the 90s. My dad, I've talked about in several videos, huge Stephen King fan, huge horror fan in general. So I remember that being on the television as a kid, but never fully understanding the concept of it. And then getting back into like revisiting everything that I'd seen as a kid when I was really, going on my horror journey for independently for my first time. Um, that was a film that I went back and revisited, and I don't want to talk. Dylan. I don't know how much you know about it, but it's a such like a film where you can see the influences. And like, unfortunately, probably seeing so many films that you've seen nowadays, if you haven't seen Jacob's Ladder, it's going to be like, okay, yeah, it's something that it's not going to hit you as so original, but at the time it was so iconic. And I think that's where I come from, where there's an appreciation for that film where you could see its DNA throughout so many other films going forward in terms of the storytelling and the narrative that we get in terms of those hooks. And I mean, a lot of great performances, very eerie when we get into that as well, just kind of the subject matter in general. And it really just kind of keeps you guessing as to what the hell's going on until it eventually does make sense. But I absolutely love Jacob's Ladder. I think that just had a 4K release. I haven't checked it out yet, but I'm very eager to, especially in terms of, I don't know if they have any, new commentaries, anything like that. I'd be excited to see, but definitely an iconic film in the space. Yeah, Dylan, put that on your watch list because that is
I got it there.
well worth it. I know they came out with that remake that I think was critically panned by everybody, and I've never went and watched that one. I didn't think that was something that was necessary, but I've watched the original 10 times over.
Oh hell yeah, then I'll definitely check it out. I don't buy a lot of merch. My sister painted me an Art the Clown and I hung it up in my living room. Hell yeah. And I have a Terrifier 2 poster that got a bunch of cast to sign. It's my most prized possession. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I
as
love
it
that.
should be. I would. That's something where it's so fun because you look at all the iconic franchises that we absolutely love in the horror space, and it's like how someone's passed away and we never be able to complete some sort of, if you want to get a poster signed or something, you never be able to like the complete cast or something like that, where it's like Terrifier, we do have that chance to
I
get
actually do
everybody,
that,
yeah,
right?
everybody
Yeah.
involved. It's probably like one of those franchises that that we're front and center for, where it's like we can live through everything here, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely am excited to see hopefully everything pan out after this. We'll save it here. But where the future of that franchise goes, because yeah, it's like the more names you can add, like even just seeing like all the people that are in 3, like who are names now,
Yep.
that like if you want a complete Terrifier like list of like the entire cast, it's a lot. So, but hey, they all go to the cons and stuff, which I mean, like we've been offered to check some of our local ones out and stuff like that. I think we're going to have to start doing that eventually
Yeah.
here and start going to them, because like there's a lot of cool opportunities to get slung our way for that. It's just like, we, with us being, you know, parents of younger children, it's not always so easy to like drop people off and go away for a weekend. So, we'll figure it out. I definitely want to start going to more cons. I want to start getting some signatures before we lose more great people. Because yeah, that sucks. That I'll never get to meet like Tony Todd or anybody.
Yeah.
That does suck. That really does suck. Well, I think we got two avenues here, Luke. Do you want to, before we start talking about some news, do you want to do kill of the week and talk about some sponsors?
Yeah, absolutely. We could do that.
All right, awesome. So why don't you kick us off there, sir, and I will get the video prepped and ready to go.
Are we doing a sponsor right now? Is that what you're getting at?
I was gonna say, yeah, if you want to do the sponsor first, and then, or how do you want to do this? I think we're
We
still
never
working
really,
this part
yeah.
out.
We're still trying to figure out exactly how we're doing this, but yeah, we can talk about our sponsor certainly here. I am wearing a fancy little let's see if I can get it out of the way. Our sponsor here is Cornbread, which is a very interesting company here where they sell it's a gummy company. They have a lot of different things. I know Dylan and I behind the scenes here, things are getting we get stressful when we're putting out these videos, especially the subject matter that we're doing, kind of weighs in on you a little bit, but sometimes you kind of just need to relax. And I think that's where these kind of CBD gummies, they have a lot of variety there over at, let me get the thing here for you. Sorry, I am so new at this, but that is cornbread hemp dot oh, sorry, we have our own code, so here, bear with me as I'm getting this all straight for us. So it's cornbreadhemp.com/splatter is going to be your code. You're going to get 30% off your first order there, so definitely go check them out. That's going to be cornbreadhemp.com/splatter. You'll get just 30% off there. They have a lot of great stuff. Me and my wife have been trying some of these products out. I do have actually one of their seltzers here. It is pretty fancy. They gave us this little koozie as well, if you can check that out. But this stuff is really nice. The seltzer is a seltzer taste, so just be prepared for that if you're intrigued by that. If you do like it, I think it works. This one is a raspberry limeade, which I'm addicted to right now. So definitely check that out. They have a very big selection of different things. And Dylan, I don't know what your experience is with it, but I'll use one of those CBD gummies. I'll sleep like a baby, and then when you wake up in the morning, my gosh, you just feel like $1,000,000. It's kind of sometimes I've tried several different ones, and you kind of get a lingering feeling. Sometimes it's hard to wake up on, but just waking up, it's like you pop up, you're ready for the day. Really helps you out sleeping. So definitely check these out. Again, that's cornbreadhemp.com/splatter for 30% off your first order there.
Yeah, I have had a pretty good experience with them. I had a lot of fun. It's one of those things where it's like back in pre-parent days, I was pretty big in the THC product place, doing all the fun stuff there. I was I guess you'd say a user of it. It's something that I enjoyed. But it's something that like as I became a parent, the job that I was working before we went to do this full time, you weren't allowed to even have get random drug tests, stuff like that. It kind of pulled away from it. So, coming back to it a little bit since coming full time, and then actually having someone who's a sponsor, it was kind of interesting and kind of surreal because like our state's only been legalized for actual like THC products for what, like 2-3 years now.
Yeah, well, general. I know they've had the medicinal use. It's only been recent that I think we've had the recreational use, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's something like that, but it's like I think it's maybe only earlier this year.
I think
But
so.
it was it's cool because it's like it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like able to, like Luke said, use these decompress things like that a little bit. I think one of the things that drives me crazy, and again, why I think I picked up the hobby of fishing this past summer so much because I wanted to just be outside, is because like when it's just this office, like it looks all fun here and great, and I love that. I love being surrounded by my stuff, but it's just like you kind of just get in these like little like spurts of like almost depression because you're just like on the computer 24/7, like constantly just looking at screens and doing stuff and recording and all this. It's like you almost get into like this odd little funk. And then like I like I said, I would go outside, run around for a little bit. But I found that like on nights where I'm really restless because I've just been staring at screens all day, and like I just can't seem to like shut it off. If I take like 2 of these, I just end up passing out after probably like 10-15 minutes. And yeah, I usually throw that on and then try to watch something that's a little bit lighter for sure.
Yeah, and I think it really does. You find that relaxation that you really enjoy, And I said, like, you pop up the next morning and you're ready to go. So, especially, watching some of the things that we watch and then kind of just wanting to relax and have a great evening. I think cornbread is easily your way to go. I have the right in front of me here. I actually have these are blood orange bliss. I love anything orange flavored. And being having to pick several of these, different brands and things like that, I will say these are easily the best tasting ones that I've had. They almost taste like a candy, and that orange flavor really hits you. Tickles the taste buds, even I would say. So I don't know. This one is a really great product. Again, definitely if you're intrigued, it is a very natural product as well. So definitely check it out if you're interested.
Absolutely. Yep. And I certainly like this. I love the pairing of this. And then, just to pimp out our other sponsors, since we didn't talk about them last week, Control. We have them still. If you guys remember from just a couple weeks ago, I'll pop up this here. This is our little promo code for them, 10% off for them. But they basically, like, again, are trying to kind of target the market of like streamers, people on here who are trying to like eat healthier, but also just enjoy kind of the almost the junky food kind of stuff that, let's be honest, we all kind of like. We all like cookies, most of us, and stuff like that. I certainly do. So if I can have one that makes me feel a little less bad about consuming it and sitting in front of a computer all day, I feel pretty good. So they have those, but really where I think I hang my hat so far with our experience with them is the meal replacement breakfast shakes. The cinnamon toast crunch one has definitely been one of my favorites. Having that with a little bit of almond milk, it's really a lifesaver, especially on days where it's like I'm running into a bunch of issues, like on a Friday morning from people, flagging our video or the video that's supposed to come out, and I have to just constantly do little edits. Like, it helps to just shake that up and have that. So definitely two wonderful sponsors for a very
And
wonderful show.
And just one second, did I get to talk about the shaker cup? Because unfortunately, a lot of the breakfast shakes, things like that, are not vegan, so I can't really partake in that. Hopefully, they'll get a plant-based product, but I did get a shaker. I don't have it in front of me actually. It's I always use it and I always forget it for the stream, but it is the big thing about those shakers is that if you get a cheaper one, you feel that flimsy plastic and they kind of leak all over. I learned that very early on where it was like, I just figured all the shakers were the same. And then I'd put it in my bag and then I'd open it up and it was just covered in this disgusting protein. But this one I'll say it's locked up tight. I have not had any issues, and that's really what you're looking for. I mean, it's a beautiful, this really wild looking green, and it's very vibrant, which is always my go-to anyway. But um being able to have that confidence that I can, leave it, especially having a daughter who's 3 years old. She loves to take my shaker cups and like pretend she's drinking out of them, and then she'll just throw them. So I having the confidence that I know if that thing's locked up, she can throw it anywhere and it's not going to just pop open. So yeah, those shakers too, I swear by them. I think that the shaker that I have is fantastic. Is not flimsy. So yeah, if you're looking for shakers as well, if maybe you are plant-based and can't have any of the drinks, definitely their shaker cups, I have 100% confidence in.
Yeah, I can say I really loved it. So I think they're great. They're a lot of fun. I think the pairing is awesome. Do you have the promo code that you could drop into the chat there for us real quick? Just so
For
that way, for cornbread, because
Oh yeah,
Erica
yeah.
wanted it, and then like, yeah,
Yep.
we got to put that one there. We're still figuring it out. I think I'm gonna make a different system for how we're gonna put those up. For I think the little QR code thing that StreamYard tries to do is nice, but I think, like, especially when we're gonna kind of do like two in one show, I want to kind of make it a little bit more accessible, and they should be popping up in the description eventually here. I'm still working with a couple of things behind the scenes on this, but either way, now that that's all out of the way and done, we can kind of get into some of the news here. Because, yeah, I think this is definitely probably the biggest week of news we've had in a while. I think it's been pretty slim this month. I think just because we've been celebrating all the festivities, we've had a couple little trailers here, but I mean, having a Scream trailer this week, I mean, it makes sense with this being Halloween week, of course, but like, it's also one of those things where I certainly didn't expect it, because this movie, it's kind of been an enigma for me. This is a really, really weird one where it's like, we're getting all of these announcements. Like, I think they probably announced the entire cast of this movie. I don't think there's any that's going to be a surprise. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know what the approach is for this movie. For a long time, I had heard that this was going to be kind of like a new nightmare-ish scenario, and they're clearly not doing that. Um, Honestly, the whole approach here, the legacy sequel thing, I don't think it looks terrible, but it doesn't also look very new. It doesn't look very, I guess, exciting. I don't know. And I felt like that was, even though I hated the reveals of 6, I enjoyed the cat and mouse kind of like, I really love the shots like when they're on the subway train and you have all these people in Halloween costumes. A lot of them are in Ghostface costumes and you don't know who the killer is. Like, I thought that was cool. And it feels like we're just trading that in for another Scream 5.
I think I'm in 100% agreement with you. Like, looking at Scream 6, where, yeah, we weren't the biggest fans as we got deeper into the story there. I know that one was going to be, the feeling was it was going to be more brutal, and, that's maybe a bit of a darker route. And I love the opening to Scream 6. I think it's great. But as we get into it, it falls into the formula of a Scream film. And it just wasn't my taste, I guess. I wanted something different. But the trailer there got us talking. It got me excited. It got my intrigue for what Scream 6 could be in terms of making it feel different. Whereas Scream 7 just feels like another Scream film. I don't know. Nothing really caught my eye about this one. I think the biggest thing is, so many familiar names coming back to this. David Arquette was mentioned. Matthew Lillard's been a big talking point throughout this. And
His
you hear,
voice was in the trailer.
yes, you hear voices. I think you even hear, don't you hear David Arquette's voice
I
in there as
believe
well?
so.
Where it's like, I don't know what route they're going in this. My thing is, like, David Arquette's voice is appearing in the trailer. I think as a credit or as a returning character, I think that's what we're getting. I think we're going to get his voice usage. I think maybe Ghostface is going to be using, iconic familiar voices to Sydney in terms of taunting her. I think is maybe what we're going to be getting with some of these returning names. I don't think that's going to be the case with Matthew Lillard, though. I think we're actually going to get Stu. I think, well, okay, go ahead, Dylan. You don't think we're going to?
I don't know anymore. I thought we were a lock for sure, but you bring that idea up and just like, he's excited. He's always been very open about like that he's returning, but like recently it's like I've seen some clips of him talking about like this and then Five Nights at Freddy's and how it's like he's like, oh yeah, it's like I only have like, I don't want to get people's hype like too excited. I only have like a limited role in each or whatever. Cause like I guess a lot of people were bummed out that he's not the character that he's supposed to be in the movie. Like in Five Nights at Freddy's, like he's not in the suit. So they were like, oh, like that was like a big point of controversy for them. And I think a lot of that spilled over into this too, where he's kind of like saying like, oh, I don't want to get expectations too high. Cause he also got caught in hot water with the Scream fans as always, for dissing on Scream 6 for like the shotgun stuff and all that.
I got you. Well, see, and that's where I think I had kind of danced around the idea of maybe we're not going to get Stu. Excuse me. But looking at it, I think it's been teed up so much that if we don't get Stu, no matter what kind of film we get, it's going to be too much of a negative for a lot of people to get past, because ever since Scream 6, it's been Stu, 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 Stu. And then we're like, oh, we casted Matthew Lillard. You can't, Scream 6, you don't cast Matthew Lillard, there's no expectation. You cast Matthew Lillard, there's an expectation now. It's like you can't get away from it. So I hope the creatives behind it aren't that kind of dunce. You know what I mean? Where it's like, we're just going to use his voice. I think this is what I think could happen, is that it could be a bait and a switch. We get David Arquette's voice. We get Matthew Lillard's voice. We get a bunch of iconic voices for them to say, wait, we're not going to get Stu. And then I don't know. I could easily see this. I think they had come out and said, we're not killing Sidney Prescott in this one. So, okay, we're not going to kill Sidney in this one. Scream 8, if we tease Stu enough in this, and then we finally see him to the end of Scream 7, because let's
Okay,
be
I
honest,
feel you. All right, yeah.
there's no way there's not going to be Scream 8. If we finally see him toward the end of Scream 7, and then it's like, okay, here we go. Now we're going to get Stu officially. I could easily see Stu pulling strings and for us to guess who these Ghostface are, because I thought maybe that would be the idea of Scream 6. We didn't get that.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, it's like that would have been a fun way to save all that. And I mean, yeah, I guess you still technically can, but then again, I'm still lost as to like, so it, who's dead and who's not dead, and who's and like what happened to Melissa Barrera's character? Are we just gonna say, oh, she's gone? Like we're not talking to her anymore. She's not involved. Same with Jenna Ortega, so they're gone. But then like Matthew Gooding and I forgot the other actress's name, the sister, like the twins, they're gonna be here, and nobody. It's like it just seems like I don't know. It's
Well,
always felt this way to me. That
well,
it's always felt like a movie that's like being Frankenstein to partially clean up the mess that was left after 6.
but but Scream 6, we had to come to terms with Sydney's not here, but everyone else is, so it's kind of like this revolving door of characters coming in and out. Sydney's a more iconic character than anyone probably from 5, 6, whatever. So it's like we kind of had to come to terms with that. It's like, oh, she's not here, but everyone else is, and I think that's what we have to do with Scream 7 is you're expanding this universe. So maybe we're not going to get the closure that we want at this time with other characters. So it's like I can see these side characters coming in. It makes more of a believable kind of body count for them in terms of, okay, we might be able to lose these characters if we want, especially if we come out and say we're not killing Sydney in this one. We're that is like a big kind of, oh my gosh, there's no tension there. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, if we know she's not going to die, then she's not going to die. It doesn't matter if she's being um pursued or not. But now we have her daughter thrown in here, which is, a layup in terms of what we see with these horror franchises. Oh, now it's extended family and
It
stuff like
feels
that.
very Scream 4 to me,
Yes.
which don't get me wrong, I love Scream 4. It's probably my second favorite, but like I also am just kind of like this doesn't feel fresh enough like
I
for what
agree.
I think it needs to be. It's like it feels like we took a really hard turn like from where we started to go with 6 with opening things up. And again, they did shit the bed with the reveal by not having enough balls to really do something impactful or cool. In my opinion, but they need to. They're not selling me quite yet. Again, I think like the problem with Scream right now for me is not a diehard Scream fan, is that the drama of Scream has really affected my hopes and feelings. And admittedly, me not loving the last 2 movies, I have a hard time getting fully locked in and excited for any of this.
I haven't been excited for a Scream film, honestly, since Scream 5. I mean, like, Scream 6 got my intrigue, but Scream 5 was such a miss for me that I went in there with a lot of hesitation. But I got excited from the beginning of Scream 6 because I was like, oh, I thought that was a fun opening, and it did have a different feel to it up to a certain point. But honestly, I haven't been excited since, reigniting the franchise with Scream 5, but that one being such a paint by numbers, nothing really felt as organic. It felt like we were trying with that film. And Scream 7 is the same way with me. It doesn't feel like I'm excited for this one. I'll go watch it, but I'm a little more on the negative side of things to be like, I think this one's I'm going into this thinking this is probably going to be a miss because the other ones that 5, 6 have been a miss for me. They've never really fully connected to what I want with a Scream film. So I'm gonna go into this one feeling like it's going to be a miss. The trailer here did not wow me at all. It just again felt so.
Not even her falling from the chandelier on top of the knife. That's kind of fun.
Was it?
It was all right,
I
you
thought
know?
I thought it was like, looking back at the kills from the original and being
Yeah.
like, now we're here. Someone hanging from a chandelier falling onto a knife. And this is the tone. This is the same universe right now is what I'm supposed to believe. It just felt so like way out in left field for a kill that I want with my Scream franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, we only have a couple of short months away for this one, and obviously
End of
we are going to
February.
get some more stuff. So, like, I think, like, we're going to find out sooner rather than later. But at the same time, I think I would really love to be walking out of Scream 7 and being pleasantly surprised. Like, that's really where I want to be with this. I want to be proven wrong, and I want to be like, hey, even if it's not fantastic, I want to be able to say, hey, that's probably the third best one. That's where I'd like to be. But where do I think I'm going to be? I think that we're just going to be in roughly the same spot we were after Scream 6, where a lot of stuff is going to be up in the air. I think the reveal is going to be underwhelming. I think it's going to be voices the whole time. And I think it's probably going to be, Lord willing, and I'll cut this out if it happens in the spoiler review. It's probably going to be Sydney's daughter's boyfriend. That's all I'm going to say. I don't even know if she has a boyfriend, but if she does,
That's a safe
it's going to
bet,
be
though.
him. That's a safe bet. It's going to be
Yeah,
him.
a best friend, a boyfriend.
A
It's gonna
friend of
be.
the boyfriend, it's going to be
It'll be
something
one of
like
them.
that.
So yeah,
And mm,
I just feel like I'm hoping for something original. I am praying for something original. I just don't think we're gonna get it. But maybe they're playing it safe. Maybe this is the reaction that they want. Give us a pretty generic trailer with too many questions and more leaning on the negativity to really wow us. I don't know, but maybe I'm giving them too much credit there, especially what we've seen with 5 and 6. But we'll be there regardless. I just don't know if I'm going to be very excited for this one. Maybe the next trailer will wow us. Who knows? I'm still curious to see what they're going to do with Matthew Lillard. The
I guess I
voices
just need
are,
to see. Strangely enough, I agree with you. I think I need to see more of the. Not need to see. I want to see more confirmation of where our legacy characters stand.
yeah.
Like as
I,
far as like who's alive, who's dead. Just so that way I can at least paint some kind of a picture in my head. But maybe the whole misdirect is part of the game. It is Kevin Williamson. I'm sure he's very protective of this franchise, even though it's like he hasn't done anything too spectacular in a long time. I think
was he
like
writing it as well or just directing?
I think him and Guy Busick worked on
Okay.
this. So yeah, they work together on it, I believe. So
I hope they give us something exciting.
I would love that, right? Like I'm not saying you gotta wow me and knock it out of the park 100%, but like just give me something where I can look back on it and say like, hey, after I watch Scream 4, I'll definitely watch Scream 7, and then I'll kind of decide after that.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm hoping they get us back on track and see what we can get. I don't know. I'm hoping it's just not going to be voices the whole time, but that could easily be a thing. I just don't. I'm confident we're not going to see David Arquette resurrected, though.
Nicholas, yeah, that's disappointing. Nicholas G says, I'm gonna bet the sequence with her falling on the knife is a dream. That'd be interesting. That'd be a twist. That'd be something.
I
Be
don't
like,
know. I hope so because I hope that's not a real kill. But then also I'm like, what a what
I
a
I think that's the
what a
cold
cop out.
open. I think that's the cold open. And when she falls on the knife and you see how they cut to the Paramount symbol, I guarantee you that's the title card.
I could easily see it because that's at the Airbnb, isn't it? Isn't it an
Yep. It would have
Airbnb?
been way more fun to see that. Or that's tough to say because then we see the shot of him walking away with the building burning down. So unless they show that right after, or that's something they're just keeping for the trailer and the marketing, then you know.
Burns
Ugh.
everything down. And maybe Matthew Lillard is going to show up. He's just going to be like in a wheelchair. Doesn't even speak. He's got like a Stephen Hawking kind of robot voice.
Oh, and he's doing everybody's voices.
Yeah,
There you go.
he's
I
doing
love
it.
it. There you go. I think it's going to be AI.
There it is.
That's going to be their take, how AI is taking over the film industry.
It was Skynet the entire time.
There it is. All righty. Well, why don't we crack the big pinata open here and talk about the Terrifier drama? Luke, take us away.
Well, we got a lot to discuss here with Terrifier. Looks like a lawsuit is opening up in regards to Catherine Cochran, who is from the original. We all know her from the most iconic scene in that of being sawed in half. She is opening up a lawsuit. Looks like contractually she said she is due 1% of the original film as well as anything that had taken place after that. So in terms of 2 and 3, she believes she from her contract she should have had gotten 1% of that, as well as some maybe some looks like some inappropriate photos have been taken as well. and then also not getting the appropriate SAG consent, I guess you'd say, in terms of being able to distribute that image, because that is such a iconic kill scene that we've seen on so many different merchandising
Been
things as well.
marketed to death
Yeah,
too.
it's
Yeah.
been so marketed. It is like one of the tent poles, I think, of the Terrifier franchise. So we're kind of getting into a lot of murky waters here with the Terrifier franchise, especially we talked about it a little bit at the opening here, being such a communal franchise for the horror fans, and really feeling like this is something we've all been along for the ride, you know, being able to feel like we're part of the family. This is it took me by surprise that we're in this place now with the Terrifier franchise, but you know, looking at so many different franchises from the 80s, we always talk about a lot of issues going on, especially those DIY productions and maybe not having the proper precautions, people always having issues with rights or contractually what they feel they're due in terms of revenue and things like that. So I guess Terrifier's falling in line there. Just, I don't know, a little heartbreaking that we're in this place right now with the Terrifier franchise.
So where I sat with this up until, God, what was it, yesterday that Stephen Barton's article came out, or was that Friday?
It was I have to get the date on that one as
It's
well.
actually in the notes here. I think we
Yeah, it
can
is.
open the article.
Here it
Um,
is.
but the IndieWire one. So
Yeah,
whatever
October
day that.
31st,
So yeah,
Halloween.
Friday. So yeah, when that basically before that hit, I was like, oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. So what this looks like to me is that it's like, if this is all there is, it's one of those things where, as far as the money owed and everything, the contract stuff, we've seen it before. We've seen it a lot when it comes to people. Even recently, I think the biggest one that I can compare that to is like Andrew Callahan from All Gas No Breaks Channel 5 had somebody come out with an SA allegation, like very like, if not the day of, or like the day before his HBO movie dropped, his little documentary. And pretty much like they hit him up and were like, hey, we want you to pay us this much and we let this all go, or we're going to release it. He said he's going to fight it, and he basically just had to go, off the grid for 2-3 years until he had his day in court, and was basically, there was not enough evidence to say there wasn't really any good evidence, and he was basically acquitted and everything. But to me, it's like that could have went that way. But then the Stephen Barton thing happens, and it's like, all right, we're starting to show a little bit of a pattern as far as that element of it. Now, the other side of this, when it comes to her saying that like they were taking pictures of her without her consent and her contract, that's a completely different side of this. And that is another part of this that just makes me go, well, fuck, like this whole thing is messy. It's all very muddy. It's all very dirty. Cause I mean, we've never spoken to Damian Leone. We've never spoken to Phil Falcone. I've spoken to Lauren Lavera. She's very kind, very awesome. Other than that, I think like Luke and I have said, Phil Falcone himself is kind of comes off a little bit like old school Hollywood. I would
Yeah.
say is probably the best way to do it. And that's not the best when it comes to especially women in the workplace on really tiny independent horror films. I'm sorry to say it, but it's like there's usually a lot of stories, recipes of disasters, especially like Luke was referencing in like the 80s and stuff coming back. So, there's some red flags all over the place here. And it's like I think that it's really upsetting, and it's really, really like just we have to see the other side of the story. Obviously, we got to know what's happening. I want to hear their defense, and I know it's all going to get solved, but is this going to be like a looming presence over Terrifier for a while? Is this going to be something where it's like, as we get our Art the Clown merch and get excited for Terrifier 4, is this going to keep rearing its ugly head until we find out the truth?
And I think it might be a little bit of a stain even going forward. I mean, because regardless of how you're gonna feel, I mean, like, I think Catherine Cochran has come out a couple times about, she had talked about in this specifically, about hanging upside down and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
just having those issues with it. So it has kind of been a thing, but I think it's going to become more prevalent now, especially when we start talking about, pictures that were taken without consent and stuff like that. It's going to kind of really get grouped in there. And I think we're going forward, regardless of some of the things, whether it's the 1% of the revenue and stuff like that, where, almost having that, I could see that's more of a professional issue. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think they had come out and said she had tried to get in contact with Damien Leone, Phil Falcone, and the production, and they said, "Well, we don't keep those records," which is shady in itself to say, especially if it was in her contract of taking whatever the payout was originally, being a smaller production, and then having that 1%. It seems like more of a professional issue where I could get past that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, people get stingy and well, want to keep their cash and stuff like that. Where it's like,
100%. It's like
not
it's shitty, and it's like, yeah, I probably will avoid working with you in the future, but it's one of those things where it's like, hey, if it's money, it can all be resolved by paying the person. You know what I
yes.
mean? Really, it's like your reputation is fucked, but like you can still make them whole for the most part. But when it comes to the other side of this, it's like, no, like, especially because like Gracie brings us up the medical bills and stuff from her actually getting hurt on set from that, you know, that stunt. It's like that's a whole nother side of it as well. So it's like, fuck.
And and especially it kind of taking so long to get resolved, where it's like, excuse me, um, I think I've wanted to believe, and I think a lot of people want to believe, Terrifier's a franchise for the fans, by the fans. Again, we're along for this ride. So issues arise from that first one, success of the second one, and hey, we don't have the means here. In that first film, and then it takes off like a rocket. In that second film, it's like, well, we want to take care of everyone that was on the ground level of this to really ignite this franchise into what it's becoming. It just doesn't feel that way, right now as to what we're going through. And you really want to have that communal feel to it. And I think it's starting to lose that luster a little bit. I know we're only like a week into this lawsuit then is going to be pending. And it just feels like, Stephen Barton came out, which
I was gonna
is,
say, do you want to dive into that a little bit for us?
yeah. And Stephen Barton, who was part of was it Dread Central, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and was really one of the driving forces to get behind the original Terrifier and then start, laying the groundwork for that Terrifier 2 and really promoting it for a lot of fans and really touching base with a lot of fans so that we could make this feel like a very communal experience. And then getting into 3, I know we even had contact with Steve Barton
We
for a
did.
little bit, and, then it came out, it was, like, almost right around that time. It was, like, a few months after he'd come out, and then it was, like, "I'm not part of Terrifier 3," and we didn't really know anything. I don't think he came out and said anything until this article that just came out on Halloween saying that, he had just gotten a message from Phil Falcone saying, "You're not part of the production anymore. We're basically being fired," and how he had went to Damien Leone and talked to him a little bit, and I think one of his quotes was there. I don't have the article pulled up right in front of me right now, but he even mentioned that he feels like Phil will sink the ship eventually. And unfortunately, he said that this Art the Clown has kind of been haunting him over the past couple of years, just being able to see him in stores, things like that. We talk about what it's a wild experience to see Art the Clown being available at your local Walmart and things like that. But for him, it's been such a haunting experience to see kids dressed up like Art the Clown and kind of him being haunted with not taking the proper, not getting anything in writing, I guess, and being able to take part in what Terrifier has become. And, that seems sad again, where you want to treat all these people that were on the ground floor for this franchise to make it become what it is and anticipating Terrifier 4. You want them to feel like we are part of this family and we are along for this ride together to see it through. And it just seems like we're getting sketchier and sketchier as we go on.
Yeah, and again, I think really where it sits is we just need to wait and see how more information that comes out before we can fully make a heads or
Judgment
tails
on it. Yep.
decision of this. But like, again, even with the Stephen Barton stuff, it's like, yeah, unfortunately, that's gonna happen. And like, if you're not like in it to win it with them on set, making it happen like that. But like him being a huge connect and a huge, like, person to have to, come out and say things about this and just be like, hey, like I helped give them connects, I helped bring things together, all this stuff. It's like, that's great. Like, that's awesome. But at the same time, it's like to have one of your main actresses in one of your most iconic scenes, who, again, a lot of people are saying like, oh, why didn't she come out earlier? It's like, I think the thing that we have to realize too is that there's a lot of incentive, especially when it comes to percentages and back end points and things. If there's questions about your contract, to try to give somebody the benefit of the doubt for as long as you possibly can, until it's like, hey, what the hell's going on? Like, when are we going to sort this out? And from what it sounds like, they just kind of said, hey, we don't keep records, is what it is. And if that's the case, yeah, then that's fucked up. And she deserves to pursue that. Again, if it's all this, stuff about them taking pictures of her behind the scenes during the shot when she's nude, it's like you have specific contracts and things you have to sign for nudity in films. Like, this is a very established practice. And it's like one of those big things, you do not violate that, about like, hey, even for promo, even for press, where it's like, yes, this is an important scene and we want to document it. It's like you have to sign away for that. And oftentimes that comes with a steeper price. So it's like they don't have that clearly when they're making Terrifier. Like, it's such a low budget thing, but it's like, still, don't cut corners in areas like that and don't do skeevy shit like that. Because yeah, it's like, some people will look at this and be like, oh, well, she wasn't like, assaulted or anything, but it's like, still, like, how would you feel if you were acting and you were naked on set and somebody just came around and was taking pictures of your junk, and then just like, God knows where that's going. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
in the movie, it's for the project, that's one thing, but then just like having free nudes everywhere, it's like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, especially because I think that scenario played out where she was in whatever the contraption was that we see on screen, so she was kind of just stuck there. And to have someone, just take photos of you, and you're not gonna be able to get out of it. There's nothing you could do. You're essentially trapped because you're in this mechanism. That's so sketchy. It's kind of sad, to think about, especially with a franchise like this that we've all felt a kinship to. I think we all love it, and anytime we talk about Terrifier, everyone gets excited about it, and looking at it, it's really depressing to know that Terrifier is no, we're not, it's subjected to it as well, I guess is what I'm getting at, where it's like, there's no exception to the rule here. Unfortunately, it's what it seems like. So I know we have to wait for a lot of this to come out, but it's like, I think we had gotten David Howard Thornton had come out and was talking about Terrifier 4, saying, Damien Leone's been kind of playing it close to the vest in terms of the creative process, and it's been a little bit different than seeing, going along with Lauren Libero, David Howard Thornton. He said they've always been kept in the loop as to the progression of the script, and he really doesn't know too much right now in terms of, he's heard that it was going to be, crazy ending. So it seems like that process is a little bit different as well. And initially that had come out and it was like, oh, exciting. We're getting kind of Terrifier 4 stuff coming out. And then this kind of just hits and it's like, well, this is really the focal point. And it's hard to get excited about, Terrifier 4 and what's going down with that right now, especially with this looming. And it's going to be an interesting, where Terrifier 2, again, we've talked about it a billion times, no expectation there. Very happy experience. Terrifier 3 was all hype and we are so excited for that one. No muddying of the waters in any sense. And now Terrifier 4 is going to be a very interesting dynamic of, we're going to have this lawsuit that's going to be looming in getting prepped for Terrifier 4, and what that's going to look like, if this is having any effect in terms of camaraderie on set, anything like that. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to look. It's going to be a very intriguing dynamic that none of us are used to going into Terrifier 4.
It's bullshit. Just after I get all the Terrifier movies on VHS. What the fuck? Like, that was one thing we Terrifier related that happened to us the last actually Halloween week, which was great. Witter, for those of you who get their VHSs, sent out the Terrifier VHSs, and we got ours like Tuesday, one of the
Yeah,
two.
something like that. Just
Or no, I
randomly
think it was
showed.
last Saturday.
Hey, it was the weekend. I remember
Yeah,
waiting for the
because it was
package.
weird
Yeah.
that it came on a weekend. So it was
I
like, yeah.
remember I got tracking for it earlier in the week, and I was like, "What the hell package is this that's coming?"
Mhm.
I had no idea until it showed up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I did order this."
Yeah, no, it's super fun. I definitely can't wait to throw it on. I want to check it out. But again, we'll get into it deeper in the video. But like, just having All Hallows Eve, Terrifier 2 and 3 all winter VHS is up there. It's just, I love it. I love it, and I hope I can continue to love it. So please, let's resolve this. Let's not be a bunch of pieces of trash. Let's treat our actors with respect. Let's be cool, calm, and creative together. We don't have to do a bunch of gross, icky shit all the time, guys. Like, please. Never stops in this industry. I swear to God. Like, just any entertainment, there's always fucking creeps. Like, I hate it.
Always and forever. Well,
I
hopefully
hate
not
it.
forever.
Yeah. Speaking of creeps, let's talk about Osgood Perkins, Luke.
Oh, what a segue there, Dylan. But yes, in 2 weeks here, it looks like on November 14th, we are getting another Osgood Perkins joint. I guess you'd say Keeper is coming out, which you talk about playing something close to the vest. We have no idea what Keeper is really about. They've been keeping these trailers very abstract and very atmospheric, I think. And I don't know. I really don't know what to make of this one. Longlegs has been so different from the monkey, and Keeper looks like it's going to be way different than those two films. So I don't know. This one, we've gotten a couple of directors, prominent directors coming out and speaking its praises. Eli Roth had come out and said a few things, as well as James Wan. I mean, there was who's who in terms of quotes
Yeah.
for that film. So it looks like it's getting high praise. I don't know. The monkey was an experience. It wasn't. It didn't knock it out of the park. I think there's a lot of great stuff about that film, but Longlegs again, a little bit of a mixed bag for a lot of people. That one worked a little bit more for me than I think most. But again, not a perfect film either way. But Keeper certainly has my attention. I love the way that this feels, and I have no idea what it's about. But I don't know if you've been paying attention, Dylan. I guess Neon did send those promotional cakes. Did you see that?
I did not see that. I really don't know much about this movie, but I was gearing up here because I wanted to share since I really did not know that this movie was being this intentionally kept under wraps until I received a little email this week. You care if I get into that real quick?
No, feel free.
Okay, so we have a Neon contact. Obviously, we've covered a handful of their movies slightly early. You know, they're one of the ones that it's kind of hit or miss. It's a lot like A24. Like sometimes you'll have moments with A24 where it's like, yeah, we're gonna set up a fucking theater for you, Luke, and Killjoy Jake, just the three of us to go watch the new Filippo Brothers movie. Seriously, like an absolute amazing time. And then sometimes you'll just never get it. They'll be like, nope, we're not coming anywhere near your area. I'm sorry. Neon's very similar. So when I reached out about Keeper, this is the email I got. And I thought this was very strange because usually they're very direct and just saying, hey, we're just not doing it there. But this was odd. But she says, thanks for reaching out. We're excited for audiences to discover the latest trip of Osgood Perkins. It's a movie best experienced without knowing what's coming. So to preserve the mystery for moviegoers, we won't be screening widely for press in advance of its opening. Select screening opportunities may occur closer to the release, and I assume those are the fan screenings with the 3 films and things like that that they were talking about. They said if anything changes and the releases do occur, we will be in touch when those become available. But it seems like they're doing everything in their power to tell you nothing about this movie. And with Osgood Perkins' track record in my book, that means either this is his masterpiece or this is the biggest pile of dog shit that they don't know how to market. I mean, I have no idea. I've seen it happen many times where it's like I see a trailer and I don't know much about it. Barbarian being the perfect example. Went into that thinking this looked generic and dumb, and it became my favorite film of the year. So I have no fucking idea what Keeper is about. Now you're telling me there's cakes? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, they sent they sent some promotional chocolate cakes to some people. It looks like on Instagram. I've seen 2 people with these promotional chocolate cakes that is it's just chocolate cake and then inside of it is a bone. So I don't know what the hell that means. But it gets weirder and weirder as the marketing goes on, or lack of marketing, I guess. Trailer wise, I don't know what to expect from this film. I know even in interviews, they've been kind of dancing around the subject matter. I know there have been a couple different ones. One of the lead actress, I'm forgetting her name, had come out because they were trying to pry open and figure out exactly what this is about, but she really danced around a lot of things. The only thing she was able to really say is that one of the quotes is that the horror of heterosexuality is really what this goes by. So I don't know exactly what that means, but we're in a cabin. We have a guy and a girl.
Looks like
The only
multiple women at one point.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're seeing it almost looks like from the trailers, like things are looks like characters from different periods. Almost it seems like. So I know one of the inspirations that I had seen in some research was The Shining. The only thing that I could think of is that maybe we're out in this cabin. Maybe we're seeing ghosts from different periods, just like how we do in The Shining. Is really the only thing that I could. At times, this feels like I think I've seen like folk horror. So I don't know. Maybe we got weapons that had a witch. I don't know. That sometimes at certain aspects is I feel like it's kind of witchery. I don't know. I have no reason to actually believe that, other than just some of the weird imagery that we're getting is the only way that I can connect some of these dots, especially with a cake with a bone in it. It's like looking at weapons with the wrapping of different things and pricking fingers, things like that is really the only thing that can connect the tissue that I can put together. But I really don't know what this film's going to be other than just a wild experience.
Yeah, it's gonna be something very strange, and that's why it's like I said, it could either be amazing or the biggest piece of shit. Because like that's the thing, like it's always risky when you do this. But I think they're firmly betting on word of mouth. I think those
I
fan
think so.
screenings are going to be huge. They're going to try to do that. But again, remember, uh, it wasn't Neon. It was Lionsgate who just did all this with this song and dance with that terrible movie we saw this year. What was that called? The one with the Weekend and Jenna Ortega.
Oh no. Hurry up tomorrow.
Hurry up tomorrow. What a piece of shit. Remember that? Like we had to go see it because they weren't doing critic screenings, they were only doing fan screenings.
I was so
And then
mad
you
about
get
that.
there and you're just like, wow, so we got a Weekend music video and a fucking dog shit movie. What the fuck?
One of the worst of the year, easily. And I remember they had asked us our thoughts too, hoping there was going to be a positive experience.
Oh
And
god, yeah, they really did follow up with us too, and that
yeah,
sucked. I hated to do that because I was just like, they're usually very nice people. But it's like, yeah, this movie was fucking dog shit. I never like to share a really scathing review with somebody who's a part of it, but I mean it's part of the job. It's part of what they
yeah,
expect, what they do when they give you access. So, it comes with the territory, but it just feels kind of like, they're because they're so nice and they're so cool. They're all like, yeah, like we really want to hear your thoughts. We want to know what you're thinking. And then they'll just be like, oh, it's okay. It's fine that you hated this with like a burning passion. We get it. It's like, oh fuck, I'm sorry, guys.
they were probably trying to find one positive quote out of the bunch, and it was like, hey, you ain't gonna find it here. But yeah, I don't know when are the fan screenings for Keeper? Do you know?
I think they start next week. Let me
Next
see
week?
here because I know there's a 3, or is it? Maybe it's the week of, because whatever that 3 film thing is. Here I'll find it. But keep going with what you're saying.
Yeah, because I'm curious. This is definitely going to be a word of mouth type of film. Neon's always in their viral marketing, especially with Osgood Perkins and what they want to do. So I think they've built a decent amount of intrigue, just keeping this concept close to the vest, not really knowing what it's going to be about. I think the trailers have been good. It looks like a very beautiful film, and really gets your intrigue, especially diving into maybe some supernatural stuff is the only thing that I can really have any sort of connective tissue that I connect any sort of dots there. But I don't really know what this film's going to be. Um, I don't know if there's going to be a creature or something. At times, it looks like there's a creature. There's something crawling on a wall as well. So
I'm
I don't
not
know.
getting my hopes up. I learned my
Um,
lesson. Never, if you ever think there's a monster in a movie, there's not. So
that's how Dylan rolls. Negative
gotta be.
expectations over on
You
his end.
gotta.
So I don't know what this film's going to be. When the monkey came out at the beginning of this year.
Yes.
Director.
So it looks like no, wow, that's crazy. So the fan screenings are not like they're not even in an advance. They're
Oh, they're
literally
after.
Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
So it's
So
the
it's
it's it's the day of basically, you know. So it's like you get to watch. It starts at 3 and then goes on until after Keeper. It's only 4 hours and 20 minutes, so it's like all hour and a half shit.
okay.
But like yeah, I mean, if you're a big fan of Longlegs, The Monkey, and Keeper, then there you go. Um, but like yeah, it's like they claim that. So I wonder. Yeah, that's just it's. I'm with Gracie on this one. I'm not sure what the plan is there. That's a
What
little.
an odd just a double feature in terms of Long Legs and the Monkey because yeah, they're done by Osgood Perkins, but there's no
They're not
synergy there.
similar.
You
Yeah,
know,
they're
so it's like depending on what Keeper is, I'm assuming it's probably going to be wildly different than the other two. I have no reason to believe that it's not going to be, but what a weird pairing that will be to go into the theater experience wise to see one film after the next.
I gotcha. And then you know what? I just realized this one is coming out this Friday. Is Die My Love? Have you heard of this one?
I don't
This
think
is
so.
the okay. So let me get the whole kit and caboodle here because this was supposed to be like a crime thriller thing. Uh, the cast is incredible.
Oh, Jennifer Lawrence, Bobby
And
Pat.
yep, and Robert Pattinson. And then look who the director is.
Oh, really?
Lynn Ramsey. Yeah. So you were never really here. I'm gonna try to track that
That
down.
and it's got Lakeith Stanfield in it.
Yep. So it's like
Oh man.
that's a must see in my book. Like, I mean, that just screams that tickles Luke and I's you know, horror or not horror, movie connoisseur art house fan taste buds there. You know, we get real snooty when we start seeing stuff like that. Um
Yeah,
that was a
I will.
poor attempt at a joke, but
I'd love to track this one down actually.
yep, I will do my best to try to find it. I love Lynn Ramsey. If you guys have not seen Lynn Ramsey, You Were Never Really There is great, as well as We Need to Talk About Kevin is worth a handful of viewings if you can get more than one. Because I understand if you watch that movie and you're like, okay, I'm good. It's very dark, but she's awesome. I love her work. So I'm excited for that. I hope it actually like pans out pretty good.
Worst case
Um,
scenario, our art house cinema Nightlight is showing Die My Love.
I know. And then they're also showing Frankenstein.
Yes, we got to get.
Somehow we got to figure that one out. But I can say with all certainty, we got Predator figured out at least. That's the important one for November, baby. Predator Badlands. We have a critic screening that Luke and I are going to on Tuesday. So we're seeing that on the Dolby Atmos screen.
That's gonna be a
It's
wild
our
experience.
favorite theater. I saw Superman there. Incredible experience. We saw Jurassic World there. That was Luke's first time being at that theater. I mean, that's
Yep.
a hell of a first time to go see to experience that one. I saw the new Transformers movie and or Transformers 1, and then the first movie I saw there was Beetlejuice 2. But you know, this will definitely probably be my favorite experience there thus far because huge Predator fan, really optimistic, looking forward to Badlands.
Yeah, and admittedly, not really being into the Jurassic World continuation. Uh, what a wild experience it was to watch Rebirth on the big screen. There got me really just engrossed in that film. I was really excited about that one and got my daughter interested in dinosaurs right afterwards. So, I'm so excited to see Badlands because we've been on the hype train since its announcement. We've been excited about this one, and this is probably gonna be an all-time experience. Hopefully, I'm not putting too many eggs in the basket there,
I
but I
mean,
think
this will be the first Predator movie we've seen in theaters since The Predator in 2018.
yeah, and anything's got to be better than that. Am I right? But just being able to hear the sound, hear everything, see the visuals on this huge screen. I'm so excited. I'm already all in for the story here. I know some people have been wishy-washy about it, but I think this one is going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited for this one. Going to be a way different experience than Prey because that one was on Hulu. That I remember staying up late just to watch watch that one, but on a
Admittedly,
small
I
screen.
watched Prey 4 times that weekend, so that was pretty awesome to be able to watch it again and again. But like, God, Badlands just looks like the kind of Predator movie like that. I think you said it. It was either like in a video or something we did a few weeks ago, where it was just like, or maybe it was last Sunday Scaries, where we just talked about how like this feels like the '90s comic books,
Yeah.
like coming to life, and it's like that. That's what I'm looking forward to. It's just really opening up the Predator world.
Yeah, I think this one's gonna get a lot of people back in the saddle for the Predator franchise. At least I'm hoping so. This one's really, Prey. I would have loved to see that in the theater, but that one more of a contained film that still has those special effects. But this one, I think it's night and day in terms of how Badlands is going to feel as opposed to Prey, just because of how big this film
The
feels.
scope is going to be huge.
Yeah,
Like,
so
and
it's like,
that's the thing that I'm really like kind of hinging everything on, is like I'm ready for a big lore expansive world building movie.
yeah, and I think, I don't think a Hulu release, exclusive Hulu release for Badlands would have done this film justice. So I'm excited that this one's in the theater. I think this one's going to be a very big experience for a lot of new Predator fans, a lot of young Predator fans. We talked about that. As being PG-13, probably going to get a lot of people that may not see a rated R film, especially younger audiences, to be able to go in and experience that. So I'm really excited to see what people are going to be saying, and when the weekend comes. I'd love to do something Predator centric. We were talking about prior before jumping on here. Maybe next week, maybe if Adrian's back, we'll do something revolving around Predator. Just because we're such huge fans of the franchise, and this is such an exciting thing to actually go to this big theater and really experience this new film.
Absolutely. It's our favorite theater, like I think in the area. I will say that it is mine because like I love seeing big movies there. So that's already good as long as the movie pans out and it's solid, which again, I'm going in with all the hype, all of the faith in the world in Dan Trachtenberg. So I'm not going in there like a lot of people seem to be with their kind of their guard up. I'm gonna go in full blown, and sometimes I walk away with that. And even though a lot of people say something's good, I might feel a little let down, but we'll see. We shall see. I did want to say Darkroom Reviews here was like thoughts on Friday the 13th, 2009. I say it all the time whenever this gets brought up. That is the movie that honestly helped create this channel in a way, because like it made me go full blown goo goo gaga mode for horror movies. Like I was into horror, I was into monsters growing up, werewolves, Godzilla, Jaws, all that stuff, dinosaurs, it all intrigued me, aliens, predators. But when I watched the Friday the 13th remake, mind you, that was like perfect timing for me. I was like 10 years old. Uh it absolutely just like made me a full blown horror fan. Like I started watching all the slashers the rest of that summer with all the old Friday the 13th, all the old Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Halloween. And then I just kind of went off into spiraling into more and more horror. And then just met Luke years later. We started building this up and here we are. So I owe a lot to that film.
Yeah, and for me, I think watching it when it had come out and being like, I don't know if we need a remake. I wanted a continuation of everything, no matter how much narrative gymnastics you're going to have to do to make that film work. I always respect it when we make everything canon and we try to move the story forward in some aspect. So going into it, I was a little hesitant, and I will say, I don't think it's ever going to be my favorite one of the franchise. It's probably going to be in the middle somewhere. But I'll say that first, everyone talks about it, where it's like that first 20-25 minutes, whatever the hell it is fantastic. It really diverts your expectations. You really don't know what to think going forward, and then throughout that film, they pay tribute to familiar beats in the franchise, but also take the story in a different route. It's got a different feel. Jason has a different feel, and I love that aspect of it. Um, really using the aspect of him being in the woods and being smarter because he knows the layout more than others, and I think that's a great storytelling device. Gives it a little bit of a difference, and it's a fun rewatch too. That one is, again, I am hooked easily for that opening, and the rest of it is like I can kind of come in and out of that. Some very familiar faces from the mid to late 2000s there, and I always love that aspect of it as well, because it does kind of feel like a time capsule in that sense. A lot of fun kills in there as well. I'm in the camp, especially. I know everyone would have hated it, especially going in to see Jason with the mask. But I love his design before he gets the mask. It just looks so scary. I wish they would have taken advantage of that. It would have had such a different feel. I know it's not reasonable to think that with the hockey mask being so iconic, but they just did it so damn well.
I agree. I love it. I think, like, again, I was showing this while you were talking. It's the 4K set. I had to get it. I mean, like, it's the perfect version, even though I have the same Friday 13th set everybody else has with the Scream Factory. So I own this movie a couple different times, but it is that important to me. And I know it's like kind of some people, I know some of them are like, there's a few people in here saying like, oh, it makes me feel old. Yeah, I get it. It makes me feel like a child whenever I bring that up, but it's true. It's like, you know, it's one of those things where I could have totally just completely went Spielberg kid and stayed, you know, the furthest I went into with horror was monster movies. You know what I mean? And like I could have went that way, but the fact that I saw this and then got interested and had a dad who was cool enough to be like, hey, if you want to watch that, like let's watch some of the older ones that I grew up with. And then starting to spin into things like really making me appreciate movies like The Thing and Halloween and, you know, really seeing for what they are. And then it's like realizing that a lot of directors really get their, you know, career started off horror. It was just a match made in heaven. And now it's one of those things where it's like, not only would I love to get our career started off a horror, you know, film or something, I would love to just make horror for the rest of my life. Like I want to make other stuff too, and I think Luke does as well. We've written other stuff, but like horror is just something that it's in our DNA. It's why we do this. We love it so much. We love talking about it with all you guys, and it's like I think it's beautiful. So that's how I feel about it. You know, I think the '09 film is important to me. I understand it may not be as important to everybody else, but it is a movie that I have roots with.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it was good to keep the franchise in the spotlight in a sense, especially where we're at in 2025. Who would have guessed we wouldn't have gotten anything theatrically
Sense,
released?
right?
You
Jesus.
know, what a misstep that is. But I think I would have loved that film even more if knowing where we are in 2025 with the franchise and lack of installments that we were going to get. Because I was for sure we'd see a remake, reboot, sequel, whatever within the next couple of years after that 2009 remake, but we got nothing. But that one is always a fun time to go back to. It is one that I don't need any prep for. I don't need to watch another installment to watch the 2009. I can easily throw that
Yeah.
on and be satisfied because I think it hits a lot of the points. It's nothing that's breaking the mold down, but I think it was I give that film credit because it was it would be a great introduction for someone who hasn't seen the franchise because it does pay tribute to so many familiar beats with what we'd seen in those, you know, first 8 installments. And I think it kind of gives you a great blueprint of what the franchise is coming out of that and making its own thing. And I mean, it really did tee up for us to reignite the franchise going forward and to have like 3 or 4 installments going through from 2010 to even now, but we got nothing. But it was like it's great to look at that film and say this is how you would do it in terms of taking all those beats that we've seen in those other past films and then implement them in here while telling your own story.
Absolutely. Yeah. And honestly, not to completely change the subject here, but I forgot to do it today, but I'm going to start doing it more often. Is so there's a lot of things that like I've been getting coached by Erica behind the scenes about when it comes to things like chat goals and things like that to do in the chat. I came to the realization that StreamYard does not give us nearly as much control as YouTube, I guess, allows for some of this stuff. So like I wanted to say formally on one of our shows here recently, forgive us for being not unaware, because like there's all kinds of little things we could be doing. We could be running polls and stuff midstream and everything. I did not know that until this week. So I hope that we'll be able to tee things up with that, because that's like a perfect question to like then spin off into like other polls and other things and stuff. So thank you, our buddy there at Dark Room Reviews, for making that happen, sir. Because yeah, again, if you look at it from our angle, like Luke, you can see it here, the StreamYard super sticker. That's something
Yeah.
that we can see on YouTube, but we can't see here. So
I got you.
yes, even though a lot of you are talking about being old in the chat, it happens to us too. Like we don't know what we're doing. We just make the videos. We talk about the movies. We just like talking about our predators. Okay, that's all it is.
That we do. That we do.
Absolutely. But alrighty. Well, that's kind of bringing us towards the end of the show, folks. With the last couple of minutes here, anybody got any other topics they want us to cover?
Well, I
Any
do have to.
questions?
I've got one other thing as we're talking about. I guess time capsules, things that we've grown up with, and things. I do have an actual physical copy of release here. Umbrella was very
Right.
nice to send us here. A film that I grew up watching, not necessarily horror. It's got science fiction roots into it, but primarily a comedy. Alex Winter's 1993 Freaked. Yes, we were able to get this box set here. I used to watch this as a kid all the time, and admittedly haven't seen it in over a decade. And I think I owned it on a DVD, and that was like ages ago, and haven't seen it since. But this used to be on television all the time. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with this, but this is a very fun. The cover is absolutely beautiful. That they gave us here. It's a 4K release. This is coming out November 5th, so just in a couple days. You get a lot of stuff in this box set here. I'll go through a little bit of it that we can check out. You get the actual Freaked script there, so it goes through just a little screenplay, especially if you're into creative writing, any sort of screenplay writing. You get to actually get to take a look at that if you can see. And then we also get let's see here, you get a little comic book as well. Just going through that. I'll put that up here as well. You can I keep hitting the mic. I apologize, everybody. But you get a
Amateur.
fucking amateur, guys. And then you get little behind the scenes art book there as well. This thing is hefty. Very hefty there. So this is very nice. This is the actual 4K itself here. You get 3 discs in here. You get new commentary with Alex Winter
Here,
as
I'll
well
put
as,
you on the solo screen so you can actually show us a
okay.
little bit. Because I haven't seen this yet myself. So
I'll crack this open here for you. So yeah, you get you get actual work print as well in this bad boy. So I've watched the actual 4K transfer, very nice. Especially when you get into those 90s films, you never know what you're going to get, but the actual transfer for this is absolutely gorgeous. So they certainly made a case for this to being actually that 4K release. So very nice there as well. And then you get, if you do get this one, you get the some stickers in here as well as a little pamphlet. Let me see if I can. I always struggle to get these things out. This is a little pamphlet that if you're familiar with the film, you also see this in there. It's a little. So you're a hideous mutant freak. Now what? This is right after he gets turned and doesn't know what's going on. Very fun. Great artwork. I'll show this again since I'm on the big screen. Very, very nice stuff here. And then you also get, this is very fun. Never thought I'd ever actually own this thing. This is a canvas poster of Freaked, which I'm certainly going to put this up. So, I mean, they went all out. We talk about, like, so many different releases that these kind of boutique labels are going to be doing. I never would have guessed that we would have got something like Freaked. This one was like, I figured a DVD copy or Blu-ray, obscure Blu-ray copy was going to be the best thing we were ever going to get with this. But to have, this is, I believe it's $85. There's actually, if you just,
I pulled up the link and I sent it there in case anybody was interested in it. But yeah, 85 US. So
and then you can get that if you just want the Blu-ray. I think that's like 47 or something like that, coming out November 5th. But this thing, very beautiful. I'm so excited to really dive into all the extras, a lot of behind the scenes stuff. You go on the Umbrella website there, and I mean, it's just got a laundry list of different things that are available throughout this 3-disc set here. I didn't know we were going to get this kind of set when I had asked if maybe inquired about getting something, but I'm so pleased with this. And if you're a fan of Freaked, I think this is going to be a must own. Looks great on the shelf as well, especially being a physical media pound, having this on the shelf. Having this, I don't know, I might put this in my background for a little bit just so that I can show it off a little bit. So gorgeous.
I only have 2 Umbrella releases, and that's the Art Attack and the Razorback. And they're probably two of my favorite releases that I own of anything. Like they are just so gorgeous, and they come with everything a horror movie fan, just a movie fan could want about a specific movie. Like right now, honestly, like we try to make connections when we can to either get you guys discounts, get us free products to talk about on the channel. It's a symbiotic relationship with a lot of this. We benefit from it. We hope to pass benefits on to you guys, but like Umbrella was something I never thought in a million years we'd get. So Luke kind of stumbling into this was pretty cool. So I definitely think we might do another little, like maybe a YouTube short for the Freak box set would be cool. Something like that, just showing it off in detail. But hopefully we can get some of these other releases, because like Lake Mungo, I know is one that I really want to cover. I'd really love to talk about that set. The new Toxic Avenger is coming out soon. The Horseman, which is a great flick. They have the actual Toxic box, which has all the Toxic Avenger movies. Like Umbrella is just one of my favorite physical media companies ever.
They're an absolute juggernaut. I don't. I think a lot of people are aware of them, but I don't think it gets talked about enough. Just because you go on their website and look and see how many great releases they either already have released or are on deck to be released. And like I said, Freaked is something that is so obscure, something that, you asked me 2 years ago if we were ever gonna get this kind of release for it. Never would have guessed it, but I love that they're so in tune with what fans really do enjoy. And, it's those conversations be like, what would be nice? It's like, yeah, Freaked box, that would be on my list there. And I'm glad that they're so in tune with that to know that we're going to get stuff like this. Because this set, my gosh, tugs at my heartstrings. Rewatching this, and I have not seen this in such a long time. I had forgotten so many great scenes in there. Just how off the wall this is. Keanu Reeves is in this film.
I've never seen it, so it's one I
Okay,
definitely will have to borrow from you eventually. So
absolutely. This you have to watch it. It's so funny. It's like very slapstick kind of comedy in a certain sense there. But then I know they mentioned how someone in the chat mentioned how great the practical effects are. I mean, Alex Winter going into this, what he's looking like, this mutant, is always fantastic. A lot of great stuff in this one. So yeah, Dylan, you're gonna have to check this
I
one out.
mean,
I'm gonna
he still
make sure you
commits to
do.
even to this day, with Destroy All Neighbors. So
Yes,
it's like, yeah, it's like he did that. That's great. This sounds like something I'll enjoy because I love that. I
very,
love his
very,
dual role.
very in line with that. Yep,
Hell yeah,
absolutely.
that's good. That's good. But yeah, don't worry, Yak. We understand, man. It's all good. It happens. It happens. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. Hopefully, like I said, we've been trying to get more sponsors, more things to do stuff for the live and stuff. Just again, not only pass discounts and stuff off to you guys. Hopefully, connect with some good products and things like that. But more relationships with studios like this, like these Umbrellas and Scream Factories and stuff. Like if we can make those happen, like hopefully that'll open the door to giveaways and stuff. I know you kind of have
Yeah,
to work your way up there. Like we've been lucky to give away codes and like advanced screening tickets and stuff, but like really my dream is hopefully to get to a point where it's like we have a box set like the Art Attack coming out and we're allowed to like give one away. Like that'd be insane. Like I'd
yeah.
love to do that. Like just to really make our giveaways something like unforgettable. So it's like, that's a big thing I hope for one day. But it all goes somewhere. Let's see. Oh geez. I paused the skin I lived in with 30 minutes left to watch the stream. How cooked am I? It's about to get pretty rough, my friend. You're gonna get
You're
some
in for an
revolutions.
experience.
If you haven't 30 minutes in, like left, I think like they've already had some of the needles drop, but I think we're still waiting on just a handful. So it's gonna get real rough.
Man,
Great
that
movie
tiger.
though.
I never looked at a tiger any the same after that. Good God.
Yeah, it's a rough one, but I
It's
do
rough.
love that movie. I
Antonio Banderas is fantastic.
He is. He's so evil in that, and it's great. I love it because like he's that evil that's like on one hand you're like, okay, I get it, but also Jesus, like calm down, man. There's a lot there. There's a lot of harbored under there. But yeah, yes, Dead Next Door. We are actually from Akron, Ohio, so
Yes.
it's yeah, it's very familiar with us. We are very aware of that one. So yep, that's gonna wrap it up here, folks. I think so. Thank you guys again for hanging out with us on another edition of the Sunday Scaries. Like Luke said, next week we'll plan to do some Predator stuff. We're gonna probably watch something that try to get Adrian to watch a couple of these. We're not sure if he's seen them all. But yeah, we'll do a little bit of that, a little bit of news, and yeah, just be another another great time hanging out with everybody. Honestly, love when we just can sit back and chat and just kind of throw around some ideas. Again, we talked a little bit about Friday the 13th tonight, talked a little bit about the news with the Terrifier stuff and Scream 7. And yeah, just overall a great stream as always with you guys. So thank you so much. And of course, we talked a little bit about our Halloween. So lots and lots of fun stuff. But this week, lots of good stuff. I know for people in the chat like Stephanie who've been waiting for it, I promised a disturbing video for Halloween. I promise it was worth me pushing it back a week. So that's coming this week. So that'll be the Friday video. It's a big one. It's one I've been working up to. I've really been trying to figure out how to do it. And I really found a fun way that I think you guys are really going to love it. And then also we will have the office tour video going over my collection and talking a little bit about the new chair and the sponsor there. So look out for that. Any and all support you guys give for that is great. But again, just showing up here, chatting with us, being our friends, we appreciate that the most. So Luke, am I leaving anything out? Is there anything you want to say?
No, again, we always appreciate everyone showing up every Sunday. Honestly, had a jam-packed day today, but I always look forward to Sunday evenings. It's in my head waking up and getting everything set and knowing we're gonna get on here and chat with you guys. I anticipate that 9 p.m. Showtime because it's always a fun time. I never would have guessed we were talking about the Frighteners today, so that was
You're
was
welcome.
so much fun
Glad I chose it.
to jump down memory lane there. So again, excited for next Sunday. A lot of great stuff. We'll be talking Predator. I'm excited for Badlands. We'll see what else comes our way. We're certainly putting out a lot of emails for screeners over the month of November, so stay tuned.
Hopefully
with that.
Creep Tape soon.
Yes, that one eagerly anticipating. So hopefully we're able to check that box here soon. Got a couple other ideas for lists coming up, so I'm gonna start racking my brain here at the beginning of the week to get that set as well. So I don't know.
And
Stay
also
tuned.
watch Welcome to Derry. Check it out when that comes out next week. So keep up with that. It's good, guys. I'm really excited to talk more about that. So
stay on course.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. Well, till next time, guys. It's gonna wrap us up here. So I'm Dylan Newell.
And I'm Luke Janesco.
And remember, stay scared.
Do the horse shit, gonna do it live. Cause Splattercast kick it every day they live. Splattercast, gonna smash your ass. 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 Splattercast, gonna smash your ass.